Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Harihi Om.
That which we call the outer world is perfect. This which we call the inner world is perfect. Each one filled with divine consciousness. Perfect comes from perfect. Take perfect from perfect. The remainder is perfect. Divine consciousness is non-dual. Anything that emerges from the divine consciousness is whole, is complete, is Purna. May peace and peace and peace be everywhere. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate.
Hi, Urmila.
Hello,
Ravi,
ma'am. How are you?
all well?
Yes, everything is okay.
Absolutely.
How have you been?
I've been absolutely fine and excited to have you as the guest today. So
Thank
we're
you
just
so
waiting
much.
for Ravi. Yes, Ravi.
Hello, welcome, greetings everybody to another series of episode on Purnamada. So this was conceptualized by Dr. Jain, and it's a beautiful idea for all so many of our students who've gone on to become therapists to share their journeys. And I think this is so beautiful and so very necessary in today's times, because these are tales and these are journeys of positivity, of healing, and it's so important that we share these, especially in the times that we live in today, where there's so much of negativity on social media. And I really thank Dr. Jain for taking this initiative, and I thank each and every participant for coming on board and bearing their souls and opening up and being a source of inspiration to so many others who may have similar issues but have never really got a chance to sort of look at any option. So I hope that this reaches to thousands and thousands of people, and they sort of reach out to Dr. Jain for more healing, or to any one of her hundreds of students that she's trained throughout the past decade or so. I would like to introduce Dr. Tripti Jain. Dr. Jain is a transformational life coach and occupational therapist. She is an MA and MPhil in clinical psychology, with her specialization in psychotherapeutic techniques. She's trained by a German priest in the Gestalt therapy, narrative therapy. She's also done transactional analysis, EMDR, rational emotive therapy, cognitive therapy, and NLP, which stands for Neuro Linguistic Programming. That's an exhaustive list, and she continues to, what I know of her, she continues to study and is all the time, filling her soul with knowledge. And we're so lucky to have you on board. And welcome.
Thank
Good
you,
afternoon.
Ravi. Thank you.
And we have Irmala from Pune today. Welcome, Irmala. Irmala has touched many lives with with the option of healing with a complete spectrum of energy. She's using modalities like past life therapy, NLP, uh, transactional analysis. She uses, she uses dance movement therapy. She is a nature and environment communication therapist. She's also done tarot. She teaches tarot. She's an excellent, amazing tarot card reader. She's also done numerology. She teaches numerology, and she's also a Reiki master. She's also a Mahavastu consultant. And wow, that's an amazing list of things. Welcome, Irmala, to the show.
Thank you so much.
So I open the door and welcome ma'am to then take over.
Thank you, Ravi. I'm also excited to see Irmala's journey and hear what she has to say. I also wish to express my gratitude to her to be the guest today. And I invite all of you, all you listeners, I welcome you all to this amazing learning about your own life. And I think Irmala is the right person to lead us there. So welcome, my dear, again.
Thank you, Ma.
So Irmala, can we begin to understand what is the situation that you were in your life at the time when you decided to opt for past life therapy as a modality to pursue? Because generally people don't look at past life therapy as the first stop. They try various modalities before they come to a past life regression therapist. So I really want to know a little bit about your journey and how you hit upon past life therapy as something that you want to work on.
Yes, ma'am. As I had told in my previous interviews, that past life was the last thing I could ever think of, because of the background, the cultural, the religious backgrounds that I came from and I was married to. But somehow, how the universe just conspires and I'm there. So I tried everything for my health. I've come here to share mainly about my health. So I tried everything, when I went through this osteoarthritis and a whole lot of other issues. So when I was going through that, I tried a lot of medicines. I didn't try any alternative therapies, but medicines, yes. And at that time, I think your show was on, Ras Pichle Janam Ka. So it's quite an influence on all of us, So all the other interviews that I've heard,
Yes.
And the same thing with me. I was very, I liked your show, and especially as you know, I'm very visual. I like the way you dressed up and the way, that whole thing was made up. So I actually wanted to be there. And I didn't know anything about whether you'd ever come and I'd ever meet you, nothing like that. And in, I think 2009, 10, when I had this health issue, somehow in 2014, I think for 15, I came for your workshop in in Pune, and I was not at all. I was very skeptical. I didn't believe. I said, let me just see, let me try if it actually works, and it worked.
And can you tell us how it
myself?
worked?
I will definitely tell you.
Yes. Yes.
So that's how my journey started with past life.
But you just said about the kind of beliefs that you had. Can you elaborate a little bit for the people, for the listeners to understand what you're talking about as far as beliefs go?
Yeah, I'll tell you something about my religious part, because I'm a Christian, I'm born a Christian and married to a Bori Muslim. So both are religions. If you see, they do not believe in karma and past life, and whatever happens here.
Correct.
So I have been born in this kind of a family and married to a family where even if I say something like that, they are like, "What are you saying?
Right.
Are you insane?"
Huh.
So it was very difficult for me at that time to even think about a past life thing like this. But I was somehow very attracted, I told you, to your series, and it just happened. So this, I mean, my mother was also a very staunch believer of Jesus. So it was very difficult for her also to, think about anything like this. So I
Okay.
never grew up with this karma and all that. Like the Hindus, I mean, in I've seen my friends,
Right.
they all used to speak about karma, and I never related to that because it never happened in my house. So that is how it all started.
Would you like to elaborate a little bit on the disturbing thoughts that you could have gone through at that point in your life
Yes.
also? Just a little
Yes.
bit,
At,
if you
at
can
that
share.
time, ma'am, what happened was I was going through a lot of my problems personally. I think we all go through some problems in life,
Absolutely.
and everything was at one time. I wasn't in this profession, or I wasn't doing any of this, but professionally I was lacking behind. Personally, it was like no relationship was okay. And I think at that time we just need an anchor to hold us, and I didn't have that anchor who would hold on to me and say, okay, I'm here. And I kept looking for people, looking for somebody who would say, okay, I'm here. So that played a very, I don't know. I mean, that is what disturbed me mentally. And as you said earlier, the in your workshops, your mind actually plays a big role, and it happened with me. My mind started deteriorating, and I started thinking I was good for nothing. I didn't know anything, and any person I looked for happiness, I looked for love, I looked for security all outside me, be it
Right.
with my children, be it with my husband, be it with my in-laws, my mother. So everything, every relationship of mine collapsed. And professionally, I was nowhere. And that everything hit me at once. And that's when I started feeling my body deteriorating. I had put on weight. I was like 102 kilos,
Really?
and yeah, and and I was like fat. I mean, I have to show, I wish I could just show you some pictures of mine. I was like fat, and I don't know what happened. It is just here, when you just let go of, I think everything just went off.
So
So
can,
that's how.
yeah. So can you share that one moment where you felt, I don't want to be 100 plus kgs. I want to be beautiful. I want to love myself, and I want that sense of worthiness. So what was that moment? Can you just go back a little and think of that day or that time or that moment when you decided, because that is very important, Nirmala, for people to understand that you can be depressed for a long time, but it's that one moment where possibly God speaks to you, and says, "Hey, get up and do something." So I wish you can share that moment with us.
Ma'am, this happened to me every time I saw myself in the mirror. And whenever I saw myself in the mirror, I did not, I used to wear, I shouldn't be saying this, that my waist size was 48. And I didn't know what to do. I mean, at one time every time I looked into the mirror, I said, no, I don't like myself. But I didn't know what to do. I joined the gyms, I took personal trainers, but it does not help. Everything is here if you let go, because I had so much of negativity. I used to blame everybody in my mind for my situation, not myself. I used to say, okay, why did he have to do this to me? Why did she talk about me? What is the reason I am like that today? It's because of somebody else. So that one point when I actually thought that I needed this to go was when I suffered a lot in my body with as things unfold. I will tell you about my diabetes as well, and a lot of things, and there was a lot of pain in my body. in my body. And then I needed to do something about it. And that's how I thought that I have to go and do something. And yeah, I came for the past life thing and things changed.
And that's amazing, Irmila. You know what you just said about you had to do something. You know, every day when you looked at yourself in the mirror, you just saw a fat person with a waist of 48. And you wondered, like, you know, what happened to me? You know, I was such a beautiful person, and why can't I regain that beauty? And that moment when you saw yourself every day, I think something would have changed in you. And I really want to tell all the listeners and everybody who's viewing this video that what she's saying is so important, that that one moment, just grasp it. You know, I think that's what you did, Irmila. You grasped that moment and you walked out, you know,
Yeah,
and you
and
did
I
something.
was slowly slipping into depression, ma'am. And with that depression, the looks are not there. You're not confident. You are like just looked down upon everywhere you go. And then you need to do something about yourself. And that's how, I didn't want the depression to hit me bad. And that's how I just worked upon myself. And I reached where I had to.
So,
Once it
yeah,
once
so
you
share
go
your,
with it, I
yes.
don't think you should look back, because then you are just there. It's just a few days, and you have to just be continuously doing what you're doing. That's all.
I
Think
love
positive.
that. Continuously doing what you're doing. That's so important. It's a very important phrase, you know. You can't just do it one day, 2 days. You have to continuously be at it. That's the message you're giving everyone. That's awesome. So, can we talk a little bit about your past life experience? That would be
Yes, ma'am.
interesting.
Yeah. In I think 2014, 2015, I came for your workshop. I came to know about it, and I enrolled for it. You won't believe it, till I enrolled. Even the day prior to that, I wasn't sure whether I should do this.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, what will happen? Let's see, and I enrolled for it. And the next day when I came for the workshop, I realized that, you say a lot of things at the beginning, just go with the flow and just let it come. And I said, okay, let me go with the flow. I am, as you know me better, I'm very visual. I can see very fast, but I couldn't believe myself because that was my first experience.
Yes.
So you put us through a lot of what you call regressions, and then I had come for the health one. So I was very keen on the health. I think you did it the second day.
No, I think the first day, the last one is the
The
health
last one, huh?
Yes.
So I saw my other regressions, and I was okay. I said, okay. But when it came to the health one, um, I saw. I mean, I'll narrate the entire episode.
You
What
must,
happened
you
with
must.
me. I saw a village called Basia. I didn't. I mean, I've never heard of this name, Basia. I said Basia, Basia. I thought I was making it up. And it was 1815, 1815. And I saw this village, and I was living, I was married, I had 2 children, I had a sister, mother, and I suddenly in that period, I thought that I would, I wanted to become a sage, I mean, a saint-like person. So I went away from the village, leaving my family behind. And in the village there was a dilapidated house, a palace-like thing, and I started staying there with a long beard, and it was like years that I was living there. And people used to come from the village and give me some food and for my living. And there was this lady, ma'am, the other day. I mean, when I was there, she had come with a lot of food, and she used to be very regular, coming to me and giving the food. And it was one of these days that I got physically involved with her in that
Okay.
life.
Okay.
And one of the villagers, when he was coming to give me something, he saw this thing. And then he called everybody, and and they all started beating me with these lathis, these sticks.
Yes.
And they were beating me. In that crowd, ma'am, you won't believe it. I could see my daughter standing. And she was my sister from that time.
Okay.
She was younger to me, and she was standing in that crowd with the villagers. And they were beating me so much. and I was left to die, and they went off, and my sister, who's my daughter now, took me on her lap, and I died in her lap, with all that pain in my body.
Right.
Now I'll relate this whole thing.
Please.
When I came to you for the health regression, in 2009 or 10, I had this bad body pain. Every bone of mine used to pain. Even my thigh bones, my fingers, every bone in my body. So when I came to you, I had already visited a lot of doctors prior to this. And they told me that you have something like osteoarthritis.
Right.
Now, I think I was in my 30s, early 30s at that time. And I was like, I used to just Google. And then I used to, how we see what will happen to me if I have this. And then I used to get a whole long list, Sometimes you get into arthritis and your bones, your fingers start, becoming, bending, and then I won't be able to catch anything. So I was petrified with all this. And so many tablets, and then those days I used to go to the club to take massage 3 times a week, because that used to give me temporary relief with that pain. And I used to take that tissue massage, which actually used to make me feel good,
Right. Yeah.
That was just a band-aid. It wasn't curing what I actually wanted to cure. And when I saw this, I realized that every part that they had beaten me up with the lathi, every part, every single bit was paining. And those lathi marks were, I could feel them in my body. I could feel that pain at that time when I was going through the regression. It was so amazing. And then I also realized that my daughter now is so close to me, because we have been, brother and sister earlier.
Right.
So that relationship also came out very beautifully. And my osteoarthritis that everyone said I would get, today it's not there. It's not that after the regression, the next day I became all right. It's a misconception. Maybe some people, can recover that way. But for me, it took about a year and a half. But after that, I've never had this pain. Never, ever. I mean, I go for a massage today because I like it, but not because of, so tremendous body pain. So
Wow.
I think it came from there, 1815. Now I Googled that. And it was, and they also, I think on Google it is Berasia, Berasia. Berasia. It's a village in Bhopal, so I've never even heard of this village, and that time so definitely not. So yeah, everything is just so vivid in my eyes. Even I'm speaking to you, I can feel me going through that journey.
Yes. And it's so amazing. Like, I think what you've shared is so true, that just because you experience the trauma doesn't mean that it gets released immediately. It takes time for the mind to again align itself, and then the release takes place, and then slowly the pain goes away. Right?
A lot of times after the regression, we get a lot of answers. It's not at that time. Maybe, when I went home, then I realized a lot of things. I understood, it sunk into me. So when I came to you, I needed that answer immediately, because Ras Pichle Janam Ka showed immediate answers. So I thought, why am I not getting it? But then slowly, as it sunk into me, I realized that no, it's just getting cured. I don't need the massages. Even if I don't have the medicines, I'm okay. And I got all my answers there.
So is it fair to say that if one session is very deep and profound, a lot of answers can come and you don't need to do multiple sessions? Would you like to share something? Because I know that you have done other sessions also, multiple sessions. So can you shed some light on this?
I have not done any more sessions for this.
Okay.
Because yeah, I have been I don't know the reason, but I'm just lucky that every time I had a sciatica also, that also got cured by a session with you. That was a different experience, but I always needed one session with you and I am done. Maybe I am so receptive and visual, as you said, have faith. So maybe when I came to you, I in my subconscious mind I had faith that you would cure me somewhere. So that played a major role. So I was, in the forefront. I was like, "Nahi ho sakta hai," but maybe that's the reason I came to you with, saying that yes, it is. This is the cure.
Yeah.
So we just need to be receptive. But with one session, most of my things are cured. I never needed to go to another one. I feel if you are receptive and you have faith, then I think one is enough.
That's true. That's true. So, Ravi, any thoughts on all that she has said about her
Exactly.
experience?
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what I was thinking. I said, we have, when I came, there was so much of faith that I know that this person, and that when you're in the room, when we are in the room with Dr. Tripti Jain, there is that confidence that comes. I mean, I'm not, it doesn't, I don't mean to sound cliched, but there is, you exude that confidence, you exude that warmth that it's going to happen. And the way you explain things, the way the whole session is played out. And as you open up, and the fact that we are there, we're searching for answers. And there is a large element of faith. So without that, that faith, the receptiveness is so important. And she's already shared, the inner transformation, how, the one profound experience and the kind of inner transformation that is taking place. Would you like to sort of explain more on what exactly happens typically when there's such a profound experience like Irmala had?
Yes.
How is the inner place kind of shifting? How does that transform?
Yeah. So basically, Ravi and Irmila, transformation can feel exhausting actually. Like
Oh,
she said that
yeah.
she went for a session and there was some healing that took place. She didn't require to go for a massage, and then slowly she realized that she was healing. It's an exhausting process, let me tell you. And it's also draining the old energies. When you transform, the old energies are being drained, and because they no longer serve a purpose. And so they're making new room for new energies to come into you. So suddenly you realize that if you are if you're not if you're truthful to who you are, then answers start coming to you much more easily. I think Urmila said this so beautifully. So the whole spiritual transformation brings us to a point, when we realize that our own being is enough. When she saw herself in the mirror every day, she felt not good enough. And then once the transformation started, just the point of transformation began, she started thinking of herself as being enough. And I truly believe that this point of realization is possibly what we call enlightenment. That's the moment when you realize who you really are. And like a chicken coming out of a shell, trying to flap its wings and then being his own being. I think that's really what happens to people. I'm sure Irmala cannot realize herself when she looks at her today. She can't see that a fat Irmala in the mirror any longer.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
want to say one thing here is what we need to do is believe in ourselves every time, because losing 102 kilos is not a one-day job.
true.
So but I used to go to the gym, and if nothing happened, I would like nothing happened. I mean,
Yeah.
so much of weight, so much of things. But then it started transforming. I started transforming myself rapidly when I started stop judging people, stop blaming people for what I am going through. I started just loving them unconditionally. I started forgiving them, because earlier it was, I had a lot of problems with everyone, every relationship. He has done this to me, and I am like this, and I'm so nice, and why me? Why me was a big thing. So why does God do this to me? I am such a nice person. I haven't done bad, and it's wrong, ma. I realize that it's absolutely, in that in PA you taught us. It's
Yes.
like that, we are playing games. It's like
Yes.
playing a game, and
Yes.
it's not the right thing to do. We just keep blaming others for our situation at that time. So the moment I realized that I have to just stop doing this, one by one, I started forgiving everyone and letting everything go. My body started responding very well. And a lot of, even my diabetes, as you know, to a lot of extent, it has, I have actually cured it. It's only because of, why we get that. You are the one who always tells us a lot of stress gets you to diabetes, right?
Yes. Yes.
So when
So that's another journey that we definitely want to know about. Ravi, anything else that you want to ask Irmala?
So this transformation, if you don't mind sharing about this transformation that one was acceptance, of course, that, you know, uh, let people be, not to sort of question them as to why they are what they are. But would you like to share more on the transformation that you underwent uh, internally, physically, and where you are in the space today?
Yeah, so if I can add what Ravi just said, can you talk a little bit about when you transform, how do people around you transform? That's something that we really want to hear. Because
yes,
everybody talks about self-transformation, but at that time, we need to hear that when I shift, how do others shift? So that's something we'd love.
others, according to me, didn't shift. So if I am here, if I am this and the old people are this, I shifted myself. So my spectrum of people were new now. I had another set of people around me. So the older set of people who actually, I shouldn't be saying this, but who I thought at that time put me down and all, they just shifted out of my focus. So it didn't matter at, one point came when it didn't really matter to me whether they have changed, because we can't change others. I've learned this in this journey. We can't change my own children. I've given birth to them. I can't change the way they think. So how can I change the way anybody in my life thinks? So it was, they haven't changed, or they have changed, I don't know. I have changed, so that is important.
Awesome. So, when you're talking, a thought, kind of a picture came to my mind, where you have a kind of a revolving stage and there are various characters in that revolving stage. And then, the stage shifts and those characters that were there just shift and your perception changes and the world that you are then seeing completely changes with new characters coming in your life. And I'm sure there have been some new and interesting characters that have come in your life.
Yes.
When did that happen?
Ma'am, what happens is the old ones also come back eventually, seeing us here, seeing what we are today. When they look at me, they say, oh, what happened to you? Because nothing hurts me today. Whatever they say, their judgments, or anybody's for that matter. So it's like, when they come and they say things, I just smile and I look at them with a blank face and they say, how did it happen? I said, I don't know how it happened. It just happened.
And that's so beautiful. It just happens. You open the window, allow the air to come in. It just happens that you feel better. So I think that's lovely.
You have seen me what I was when I came to you. I used to wear clothes double my size. I was like a hanger. I never bothered about anything. I've got my pictures that looked so horrible then. I was like, and today I feel like seeing myself. I'm so much more better, so much more better.
Absolutely. Irmala, it's so beautiful that within that 102 kg person was that beautiful self. Okay, it's not that you transformed. I mean, again, I'm saying we look at it as a transformation.
Yes.
That actually what happens is that that little self who is good enough just begins to shine, and that extra kg just is not seen, because it's not that it's not there. It can come back again also, but it won't come back because you're shining, and all that just can't be seen. So it's beautiful, Irmala. We also
For
want
it-
to know. Yeah, tell me.
Not to come back, that's what I said, ma'am. You have to keep working at it every day,
Yes.
And I do this with myself every day.
Yes.
So every time there is a thought that, I need to blame someone, I go back and introspect and I say, stop. And then
Lovely.
1, 2, 3, 4, and then that's it.
Lovely. Very nice. Very nice. Delete.
Yeah.
Very
So
nice.
yeah.
Really crystal clear.
And so then what happened? I mean, okay, you got better, and you transformed, and you had this light shining through you. So what motivated you yourself to become a therapist?
When this happened to me, a person who never ever thought that past life regression would, really make me is what I am today. Then I thought that if it can happen to me, it can happen to so many, and I can be one person who can change, somebody's life, if not so many. And I started with that, and I liked the modality so much, the therapy so much, that I signed in for being a past life regression therapist. And then after that, all the journey you know better, because you're the one who guided me right till here today. And I'm really thankful to you.
So, Irmala, I remember that session that we had at Missouri, and you experienced because I know you're so visual. So you had you were my subject to demonstrate life between life. If you remember that beautiful session, and the learnings that came for the other students at that point. Can you just, in short, tell people about the experience that you can have if you experience a session called Life Between Life, or what we call LBL? What was the message you got, or what is the spiritual guide that you felt, and how does it feel when you experience that space, that realm, which is the spirit realm as we call it? So any thoughts on that you'd like to share?
Yeah, as a child, also I had a lot of issues with, my father not being around or whatever. So I wanted to, and by then my older sister and my mother had also passed away when I came for the therapist course. So that is what I wanted to see. I wanted to see if I could meet them the last time, and that's when that entire session that we did, and I went there. I met the spirit guide. I got a message saying that you need to be more happy. You need to help others heal, and you need to have a life where you can do a lot for everyone. That's what my parents told me, and it was a very different journey, which I actually can't say right now. But yeah, there were a lot of things that happened. You need to experience it to actually know how to, what it is to be there. So in short, yes, I met all my loved ones there, and I could get a message from them. And there were a lot of experiences that I shared at that time with you and everyone. I mean, you all saw it happening. So but it was beautiful. You feel whole and complete. You feel full when you come back.
Yes, yes.
So yes,
And
I'm at peace now. I'm at
Can,
peace.
can you share how that realm feels like? Does it feel physical? Does it feel lighter? Um, is there an experience of light that you feel? Or when the spirit guides appear, how do they actually appear? Does the sound comes to you? Or there's a vision that comes to you, or something, just a
Yeah.
little bit for people to understand.
Yeah. That place has. I mean, I couldn't see any people with legs or nothing like that. I could see their images very only the sketch, only the outline of them, and it is very. It's very white. It's like it's clouds. I can't even say clouds. It's just white, you know. And you can't. I mean, I at least didn't enter that realm where my parents were there. They were not. They didn't allow. If you know that entire thing, I am saying that they didn't allow me there. But at the you know, just at the gate, the first thing that I went in. It is beautiful. It's very light. You don't feel your body there. You just feel you're floating. You don't have legs. You don't have hands. You're just floating, and it's beautiful. It's a different experience. Life between life is a different experience.
That's awesome. Ravi, what do you have to say of this?
Wow, that's really magical. I was, of course, viewing the session. We are co-participants of 2016 in Missouri, and that was such a magical experience that she had. We all kind of felt so touched by what we saw. I've been making notes, and one of the questions that I sort of came up or I was thinking about was, does this in any way alter diseases? So if thoughts create matter or thoughts create things, then our physical bodies also matter.
That's true. That's true. So you're asking me, how does it happen? I mean, how
Yes.
does
Yeah,
matter, how does the healing take place, if you have to explain, right?
How does it? Because we are creating, with our own thoughts, we're creating matter. With our own thoughts, we're creating these things. So, our whole physical body is matter. Is it, I mean, how is this? Are we manifesting? How does this, if you
Right.
could just explain about that.
Right. So, Ravi, the body is basically gross and I can touch it. It's basically tangible, right? And in fact, it's actually made up of a matrix of
Correct.
electrical impulses, they say. The body is nothing but a matrix of electrical impulses. And electricity is everywhere, even in the human body. Every cell of my body has got a current that is flowing through it. And our cells are also specialized to conduct this electrical current. That's the amazing part. And if you look at the elements of our body, what are they? Sodium, magnesium, potassium, calcium, the ions. They also carry an
Right.
electrical current, or a charge is there in our physical body. Now, if you believe that you're a physical body, then it's a fallacy. Because
Okay.
you're not a physical body, you're just a matrix of electrical currents. Correct? Now, let us think of your thoughts, because Irmala very beautifully explained that she had so many negative thoughts coming to her. So if you think of these thoughts, they are also intangible. I mean, you can't see your physical body as an electrical current that's flowing, right?
Right.
But so similarly, my thoughts also are intangible, and they also affect my body, as she rightly said. So positive thoughts will obviously create a sense of worthiness, and they will spread a electrical signal in my body, right? And these signals will obviously affect the functioning of my body.
Right.
So if I have negative thoughts or thoughts which are disturbing, that will also create some disturbance in the electrical matrix of my body, right?
Okay.
So what happens is the electromagnetic field that is around me will start changing when I start changing. So when Irmala's thoughts started changing, her feelings started changing, her perception started changing, her view started changing. What happened? No more was this electrical field in the manner that was functioning in the old way. There was a
Old way.
new way in which the electrical
Correct.
signals were being received by the cells of my body. And because the electrical signals were different in my body had to function differently. And so the osteoarthritis, in some time, that is why very beautifully she said, it took a year for her to realize that she didn't require the massage actually, for the pain to go away. So slowly, it's not like a magic pill. It's not a magic pill that you do. In time to come, the signals that the body was receiving was changing. And then every cell of the body, initially a few cells of the body, then more cells of the body, then the organs of the body, right? Then the blood vessels of the body, then the nervous system of the body, slowly, 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 the brain started receiving different signals. That, hey man, you no longer have pain. And that's when the decision started being made that she doesn't need to go for a massage. So this is how we have to understand how the changes begin to affect the hormones also of the body, and then healing starts beginning. Now the healing doesn't end when the body starts healing, Ravi, which is what Irmala has also pointed out. The body started healing, and then her mind, her thoughts started healing her. So slowly everything transforms: the body, the emotions, the sensations, and then the thoughts. And when thoughts start transforming, like you rightly said, thoughts create things. The intangible created a new body of Irmala. Today she has a new body, completely new body. And she doesn't need to go back to the old body, because now those old signals can't come back, right?
Very true, very true. You people ask me, that means you don't love the people around you, your own, your own spouse, your partner. I said, no, it's not like that. It's not like that. We love them, but today what we need to see is, my happiness first. And earlier I used to be a people's pleaser. I used to go because XYZ said something, I used to run and do it for them. Today I wait. Is it important? What is it that I need right now? And then I go about it. So yes,
what is it that I need right now? Yes, Ravi, that's a lovely phrase she
so
said.
Important, yeah. Such a fantastic, and this is like, people are constantly putting others in front of themselves, and somehow they get lost. Not only identity-wise, but they just get lost, and it's all the time putting yourself down. And I think that's a very inspiring, person we have in front of us, and fantastic. I really like the way she, changed, and she said it's spot on. I think about myself, I make myself happy, and it's not that she's not thinking of others, but it's not always about them first. It's, she has to have. If it's not her, then who else? You sit in an airplane. What does the aerostess say first? पहले oxygen mask खुद पहनो, फिर किसी और का. So fantastic. I mean, she's living it.
Even if my children, who I love the most today, even if it is them, I mean, I wouldn't give up, what I want before that. I mean, earlier it used to be, they need it, they want it, okay, I can wait. But it's not that I don't love them. It's just weighing, understanding what exactly is where I am today. I need to be loved, and only I can love myself. Because initially when I started the journey, I was like, I want someone to love me. You don't love me, you are doing this. Not that the thought doesn't pass my mind today, but I correct it and I get it back. No, I mean, I just switch off for 2-3 hours, I get myself back, and then I say, no, this is not what I want. I don't want to go back there. So this is, this is exactly what happens in this time.
I have to say something here, Irmala. I know you haven't spoken about the children, but I just want to say that Irmala lives in Pune and her children live in Bombay. And I think that is a huge learning for a lot of people who are out there, that another mother would have decided that I live in Bombay with my children, look after my children, cook for them and clean the house and stuff like that. But look at the way the transformation has taken place, wholly, totally, completely, absolutely, that she can live by herself happily, doing the works that she does, and allow her children to live in Bombay and not be on their case. And I think that's huge. It's huge. Irmala, I salute you, my dear, for this.
She is moved from external validation. She doesn't require any external validation. She's such a strong person that, she's, internally she knows the validations are not needed to prove who I am.
Absolutely.
So she has found herself. She's found herself completely.
It is a difficult journey. I don't say it's easy. That you are a mother, you know it better. It's not easy. But we need to understand that if we don't go through this, we will never reach anywhere. Then it's going to be like another waste of a life. And I did not want to do that to myself. I didn't want to waste my life. And
Wow.
that's how I put the pieces together. I still miss my children. But yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. But then that's okay because, they are seeing their mother grow, and evolve. So for them, it's that deep satisfaction that my mother, and they're proud of you. I've seen
Looking
that.
at
They're
them,
so
I
proud.
have learned a lot. Yeah, looking at both of them, I've learned a lot. And I've discussed so much with you always about them. And I think you have bonded us by those one-liners of yours. Yeah.
So
You've been
I
great.
think Ravi, her journey that she is now going to talk about, I'm sure, is for the diabetes, because that's
Yes.
another like mind blowing change. So Ravi, any question you want to ask her on that? Because you know her, like a friend, so you've seen her. So any question that comes to your mind, and then she can take from there.
No, I think, let's hear about, about her diabetes journey, and then let's pick up
Okay.
something from there.
Okay, great.
I'm
Okay.
really excited to hear about
Will be
this.
in a little detail, but I'll definitely share it.
Have
Bilkul,
to.
bilkul.
We
Others
want it to be
may,
detailed. Yeah.
understand how to deal with certain things. Um, I was a diabetic when I was 18. I was detected when I was 18 or 19. And since then, I was put on medicines and I had a lot of issues. Now, when 10 years back, that 2009, 2010, they put me on insulin. And I had a lot of fear with, I still have fear with needles. Okay? I don't like injections. So from that time, I wanted to cure myself. I said, I don't want this insulin. But slowly the journey as I started with, cleansing, cleaning myself, my thoughts, my body, my stress levels. Then I took a lot of sessions from, reframing and all these things with NLP as well. A lot of changes came with the way I started thinking about myself, and slowly, steadily, um, I think about 6 to 8 months back when I went to the doctor. Prior to that, my diabetes was 600, and
My God.
I was in Siliguri. I was taking a workshop when it was 600, and I had to come to Pune, and I flew with 600 diabetes. I didn't know whether I would collapse or what would happen to me.
God.
And I had to take the flight, and I did it, and it was like 600. I've got the report somewhere, if I can show it to you after the program, whatever. 600 diabetes. I flew to Pune, and then I said, okay, now I need to, control what I am doing. So I started exercising. Like I started making it a little double. Like I did 1 kilometer swimming, 5 kilometers of running, jogging. That is every day. So I started with that, and 6 to 8 months back, when I got myself checked, there was no diabetes. It was normal. And then the doctor himself said that you don't need insulin anymore. And I was like, are you sure I don't need, because I've been insulin dependent since 10 to 12 years now. And he said, no, it's not required. And I was, I still have some medicines so that my diabetes doesn't shoot up, but insulin is not required. So I used to be on 18 units of insulin. And suddenly from day to day, I don't take insulin at all. That's been like 6 to 8 months today.
My God. Amazing.
And I eat everything. I eat normal food. Like I have jalebis. I love jalebis, rasgullas, and everything. There is no diet that I follow whatsoever because I love food, and everything, all bread and croissants, everything. And it's still normal. It's just here. It's just here that, I love that stress level, the love that I get from all of you. Maybe that has just got levels straight.
Wow. Love has great power. I think, Ravi, that's what Ikmala is telling all of us.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes,
this
it
is
has.
this is about this is why I was so keen to hear about her journey with diabetes, because there are so many people who are, I'm sure, suffering with the same thing, and they're going to get really inspired by your journey, Irmala, and I think
Nothing
this is
is
so
genetic.
inspiring.
You know, Ravi, everybody says it's genetic, it's genetic. My mother had it, yes. She died
Yeah.
of diabetes, high levels of
Oh,
diabetes. But I don't think it's genetic. Nothing is genetic. If we just change, because our cells in our body can change, we can make it change ourselves
true,
by the way we think,
true,
you know. So
right.
that's what I did. I changed the way I thought about myself and I loved
You
the
have
way.
broken a pattern.
Yes.
Yes, I've broken a pattern.
Yes.
You have broken a pattern. You have
Yes,
decided that this
absolutely.
stops with you. No longer. The next generation doesn't have to sort of, even think about. And when they look at you,
Carry
your daughter and
forward.
your son, they look at you. If mommy can do this, so can we. And I think
Absolutely.
that's fantastic. So the
Just
exercises. So it's not that you're very careless. So you're a foodie, and I think most people are. But what you're taking good care of yourself is, you're exercising a lot. You're not taking yourself for granted. You're still doing a lot of work with yourself. There's a lot of inner peace that you've come through. So it's not overnight, and I get that, and that's what people have to understand. That it's not overnight. You have to work towards it, and I think that's fantastic. I'm sure a lot of people are going to reach out to you, and after this, to understand more and to take your help. What do you think, ma'am?
my God, I'm just so surprised and what should I say, pleasantly surprised that you know Irmila has actually aligned her mind and body. You know,
Right.
she's like made it one. We generally consider our body separate than our mind, and that is why we have problems. Let me control the mind or let me control the body. But here Itmila has actually aligned the mind and body, because actually mind and body are mutually dependent on each other. They're the same at one level. And you know, I think the mind needs to tune into the body, and the body needs to align to the mind. And Irmila has explained it so beautifully. I always say, that think of the thoughts as a bridge and the feelings as the breeze that blows. And while we walk on the path of life, uh, just think that we have to now cross another bridge, like we say, to create different thoughts, and just allow these thoughts to start getting realigned, and the feelings to be created, the new feelings to come, and then slowly, the electromagnetic field starts changing within and outside, and then somehow you become a new person. Like I said initially, only that the light being that you are begins to shine through this body. And that's really what I can see Irmila. The light being is shining. Her face, her glow, her words. She hasn't scripted all this. She's just saying the right thing. And I want to say that Irmila, today, who you are is who you were meant to be. You know, and you were not meant to be that, but you were meant to be this, and you are reached that where you were meant to be. And I know you're going to grow and develop and evolve and change so many thousands of lives. I bless you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. I need it. Coming from you is so big.
Thank you.
But
Really,
it is
it's
true, and it's fantastic, and just to watch and listen to your journey has been it's amazing. Those facets of it, which I mean, we know each other since about 4 years now, but
yeah.
there was some things that even I
More than
was
that, more
unaware.
than
Yeah, more than that. But and you've really bared your soul today, and I'm so grateful for that. And of course, our mentor, we owe everything to her, Dr. Jain. If it had not been for you, I don't think this whole modality would have come across. We wouldn't have come across to this, and it was, I don't know, it was just meant to be. So just the way she's meant to be, where she is now, I think you've been such a important part of all our lives. Each one of us, the past, to the last time that I shared, and I was so deeply indebted to you. And I think same with Imra. Imra, would you like to say something?
Yeah, in each
Just to
each
conclude,
one of us, ma'am, you are there. You are in each one of us. So
yeah,
that's the major connect, and
undoubtedly,
change
undoubtedly, yeah, you're
actually
part of
helps.
our
I know, I know.
Journey, beautiful
such an
journey.
important part of our
I'm
journey.
so grateful for all the love I get from everyone, all my students and the clients that come to see me. And I think that's one of the reasons that I wanted the Purnamada series to take place. That these beautiful souls and the way y'all have each blossomed, is something that I want people to understand and learn from all of you, because you all can extensions of me. So some of them are my eyes, and some of them are my
Well
ears, and
said.
some of them they're my fingers, and some of them are these nails. So I really want that everybody understands that as a mentor or a teacher, you have to extend yourself, and you have to allow all those beautiful people who came and made you who you are also get to say their stories. Because every story is different and every story has such deep learning. And I request and I appeal to everybody who's watching this episode, continue being with all of us in the series and just learn from real people,
Yes,
talking
absolutely.
about real things. That's
Ma,
what.
one thing I want to tell you here is you always told us don't keep telling the client to come back and pack just like that. Give it time, and that's what I have learned, and I think our entire group must have learned the same thing. You just don't call people because you want them to come back to you. You actually give us a lot of love and care and time and understanding, and that's what is very important.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you, Irmala. I
So
love you, my
yeah.
dear.
So,
So, Ravi, your closing
Thank you.
statement, and then we can
I,
end.
I think there is such a fantastic episode, it's a fantastic sharing, and I think this is very far-reaching. I think a lot of people, um, the key takeaway is, how, a woman has literally taken over, control over her life. And I think that one statement which was really important was um, uh, that you, even though there are people around you, you love them, but you have decided to give yourself. So more power to you, because you've taken the decision that it's me first. It's not, you're not going to put people first, but you're going to say, it's me first, and you live it, and it's showing. It doesn't make you love your loved ones any lesser. You still care and take care of them. You love them this, and nothing less. I mean, you love them even more. But it's fantastic, and I know, uh, I've seen your change, and it's fantastic. So thank you, Irmala, and
thank
as always, thank you, Dr. Jain. Thank you, ma'am, so much for all your help in healing. So
You.
this is the wrap of today. Thank you. And I wish a lot of people view this and get their takeaways. So that's it for now. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Namaste.